Welcome to Cripple Fix It. I'm just going to show you now the fix I did on this KIA, which is basically a preventative fix. It's one that will catch people out. It's a 2.9 diesel, but it's any car that has an overflow pot rather than an expansion pot, which most cars have with a screw top. This has got an expansion top with a lift off top, and I'll explain when I get under the bonnet how I fixed it. What it means is what can happen when the car cools. If you don't do this fix or notice that it needs fixing, what it can do when the car cools is, instead of sucking water back in, it will suck air back in to the water system. So what happens over a period of time is you get more and more air in until there's too much air in, and then the car will overheat. Because it's not, the expansion vessel is meant as an overflow. So when the radiator cap, which is on the engine on this, when it lets water out, it goes through a pipe into this pot, and then when it cools, it sucks it back in, just because of the vacuum of everything cooling down. It will also suck air in, obviously, if you've got a hole somewhere in a radiator or something like that, but you can spot that. This bit you can't spot unless you top it up, or even know that something's missing off of it. So I'm going to transfer the phone to the kit and plug the microphone in properly, because I now know how to do that. And then I'll show you how to do this little fix. It's worth doing. Take you about 10-15 minutes. All you need is a cable tie, a small one, like about 6 inches long, a narrow one, or a very small, say 10mm 3/8 hose clip. But I did it with a cable tie because that's what I had, and it works perfectly fine. So I'll say ta-ra for now, and I'll see you under the bonnet. Right, this is the radiator cap, which is on the engine. Don't undo that when the engine's hot, you're going to get burnt. What they should do is, when it gets hot, releases the water, expansion of the water down this pipe into this pot. Here, this is the expansion pot, and you just lift the lid off like that. They get a bit hard and brittle. That's on. So you top up your water from here, and you can also top it up here. If you pull this out and this tube is not on there, you're going to be in trouble, because what it does is it sucks air back in instead of water, because water's about halfway up this pot, and this bit of tube will probably be sitting in the bottom. So as you can see, what I did is put a little cable tie around it, because the rubber had gone all floppy. I could have got another bit of rubber, but I didn't need to. So I took the pot off, which is only a couple of bolts. I managed to find this sitting in the bottom. So you can see it's got a chamfered end. So if you need to cut a bit of pipe, cut it with a chamfered end, otherwise it could sit tight on the bottom and not suck up water. That's all it is. Cable tie, nice and tight on there then, so it's going to suck up water, not air. And then you can pop that back in, put the lid on. So when it cools, it sucks water back then, not air. I don't know if I can get this off yet. Need a little bit top up in there. You fill that up so you can see the water, then pop this back on tight. So now when the water expands, it lets it down here into the reservoir, and when the engine cools down, it sucks it back up. And then you keep water, as you saw, I only topped up a tiny bit then, and that's been, a couple of months. And that's all it's managed to lose. If it was warmer, which it's not that warm at the moment, the top hose is actually cold. If it was warmer, that would have been a lot of steam coming there, so you mustn't ever, any cap like that or a screw cap, don't undo it when the engine's hot. It's going to go wrong and you're going to have a bad day. So there's a little tip, because what will happen is you get more and more air in until you've got too much air in, and then it will overheat. And you'll notice it getting warmer and warmer and think, what's going on here? And it could just be that daft little plastic pipe, little rubber pipe, has fallen off. Dead easy fix. I mean, if it really blows, overheats, what happens is it comes here, blows out here, and will blow out this end. All over the place, but hopefully it never gets to that point. So it's a useful tip, and any car that's got that kind of pot. I hope to do an engine service on this tomorrow, if it's warm enough. But that is a very, very useful tip. Right, cheerio.